Hello Fearless Gamers, Matt here for Fearless Games, and welcome to another video unboxing. Before we start this video, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. That way you know when more of these videos come out. Hit that little bell icon so YouTube actually tells you when these videos come out. And give this video a like. That way it gets out there and circulates more. And I can also see what content you guys really want to see. This helps me out greatly with deciding what kind of video content to give to you guys. And like I said, it helps out the channel a lot. And we really appreciate it if you could do that. So, with that out of the way, let's continue with the video. How's it going, everybody? So today we're going to be unboxing the new expansions for Primal the Awakening. These were expansions that were released, I believe, back in November, or at least the pre-orders went up in November. And what they were, this came out with a couple of different bits to it. There was this deck, this box set, and the terrain expansions. The terrain expansions were basically new game mats that gave you a different piece of artwork to use as your game board, and some of them came with added like environmental effects. Like one was a winter-based one, so it had different effects based on ice, and there's a jungle one, I think, and a lava one, and so on and so forth. I didn't bother getting those because they added very little to the game, and I didn't really have a place to put them. So maybe later on, maybe one day I'll pick them up, but right now, not really interested in them. But what I was interested in was the Nightmare Expansion 2 and the Heart of the Wild expansion. So the first one here, the Nightmare expansion, in the game with some of the expanded monsters, I think maybe one core monster and the Awaken, there was this extra deck you got called Nightmare Mode, where the monsters were much more aggressive and much harder to fight, making it more of a challenge for you in case you just wanted to do a one-off mission and you wanted to have like a real difficult challenge to it. You could throw in the Nightmare version of the monsters. But only, as I mentioned, a handful of monsters had those decks. This here gives all of the monsters that didn't originally have a Nightmare Mode deck to have a Nightmare Mode deck. So it doesn't matter which monster you want to fight with. If you're looking for an extra challenge, this will give you that extra challenge that you're looking for. And then the other one was the Heart of the Wild expansion. This added 2 new characters to the game. One is kind of like a control type class. A lot of his cards and special actions involve around controlling other members of the party or the monster itself. And this one here, the one with the spear, I think she's more of like a piercing, like direct heavy damage deal. I think she's very much a glass cannon up in the monster's face and really driving in damage to try and take it down as fast as possible. But I'm not 100% certain on that. I just know that the other character is very much about control, like moving this party member here free of charge without suffering any penalties, or controlling what the monster does, and so on and so forth. So I thought today we could break out the expansions and see what we got here. So first we'll do the Nightmare Mode because this is pretty easy. This is just, like I said, extra decks for all of the monsters that originally did not have a Nightmare Mode. Okay, so we get a little booklet here, expansion. I love all the different quotes that these guys have. And it gives you an overview of the expansion, what cards you were given. And so see, it adds more cards to the Awaken, and every monster that was missing a Nightmare Mode is represented in this. And then it gives you notes on variant rules for the expansions. and how it all plays out. Nightmare mode setup example, Awakening nightmare mode variant, so new rules for giving the variant here. Hunter's Trial and Nightmare, so all the different rules here. I haven't really played anything involving nightmare mode, so probably a lot of what's in this book would make more sense later on once I actually try nightmare mode. I've only played I've only played the starter mission twice, and so far, loving it. Great game. It's basically Monster Hunter meets Kingdom Death is probably the best way I can describe it. And so, okay, simple. You get 2 decks of cards. Each of them have a little symbol on the back to represent which monster card it represents. So this symbol here is basically used in the game to control the the monster's AI. You would place these cards down on a monster playfield, and these icons indicate what action the players take that would trigger these cards. So the game is very big on strategy because what you do controls the monster. It's not like you go, then the monster goes. It's you go, and during your turn, the monster could perform an action. And so you got the different cards. There's not much to see in this expansion. It's really just extra decks of cards. You throw them into your monster box the way that you have it all set up, and there you go. And it's also pretty easy to tell the nightmare modes from each other because usually they have, there we go. You can see it on this deck here. The symbol is like red, whereas normally it's white. So that's an easy way to determine if you're in your nightmare deck or not, which is really cool. And so that's that out of the way. Let's dive into the really meaty expansion, which is the Heart of the Wild expansion. Which, great artwork. I love all the artwork. The quotes and the lore in this game are always so good. Hey, let's pop this off. And in this box, we get the rulebook, which goes over all the content in the so why every time I make a video is when everybody decides they want to contact me. Sorry about that. So manual here comes with a follow-up about the different characters. So, you know, we got Drusk, I believe his name is, and Zaraya. And this goes over all the different things that come in the box set, which is really good. So in case you want to make sure you have everything, you have a reference so you know what you need to keep an eye out for. Then it gives you how the characters work, because each of them have like these unique mechanics to them, which is cool. New keywords goes over all of that. The deck list, because these guys weren't originally in the core book, so you have to have their setup for their decks here. And there you go. This expansion is primarily just adding the new characters. Like, it doesn't add like any extra missions or anything like that. You got your player game boards. So your gear goes here, your weapon goes here, and your carry-on items go down here. And there's the tracker for their special mechanics. You know, same deal with this guy here. Then we've got these are location cards to building new weapons, because they do have a unique weapon just for them that isn't originally in the game, so they need to give you a new location for all of those, and they each have different levels, so you can improve upon these to get different items and different materials. And it also adds new weaponry to the existing characters, which is really cool. You got your bookmark for the decks in the card holder. Then you got their weapon decks. So their reference card, and then it has their weapons plus the additional weapons that they added into the game because of their new location for building stuff. We got their token trackers for their special mechanic. And we've got the miniatures, which once again, these guys really go all out with the detail. It is ridiculous how cool these look. And they even added little scenic effects to their bases, which is cool. Yep, there is him. Really, really awesome. I love the minis in this game. They can be a little fragile, so gotta be careful with them. Like, I can see her spear breaking very easily, or her hair. Yep, there she is once again. Great detail. It's very worth it. Like, this company is really good with the detail of their models. They did not cheap out on that. And then you got their hero decks. So this has all the cards that you need to build up their hero deck. And so, like I said, it's probably split down the middle, and one half goes to him, one half goes to her. There might be one or two extra cards in here, like they might have thrown in an extra behavioral card to a specific monster, or a special new card for the other heroes. But that's what all this deck is. And that is everything that comes in this box. And like I said, so far, what I've played with the game itself, it is amazing. It's you've got a way to do it with one quick one and done sit down missions, or you can do a whole campaign, which I always like doing the campaigns in these types of games just because it gives it more than just a quick sit down. I like games that have some sort of campaign mode to it. And there was one other thing I picked up, which was the extra sleeves. Supposedly, going by the description, this should be everything I need for all the new cards these two expansions have added. I've been hearing online that this doesn't have enough cards in it. Once this video is done, I will sleeve all the cards and I'll put right down here if it actually did or not. One friend of mine who did pick up this game said he needed to order a second pack of these to get to fill up the rest of the cards. So we'll see how that goes. Which is very odd. Reggie Games was pretty spot on with the sleeves with the original campaign. They basically, I think I had maybe one or two extra sleeves left over. So I find it surprising that this time around they didn't properly count out the number of sleeves. So we'll give that a look, see if that's true or not. All in all, really cool expansion sets. I'm excited to see what they do make in the future. But let me know if you've played this game. What do you like? What do you don't like? So far, the only thing that I'm not a big fan of is the organization for the game. There's a lot of open space between all the holders and such. They did step it up because they did add, as part of the expansion, a new version of the card organization that comes with a better organization for all the cards and tokens, which is really cool. But the one thing is, though, you then have two different boxes for just cards, and then the core game, which is a huge box, which does have quite a bit of room. Now that I have this expansion, I can work on my own little STL file organizer, which I have been working on to try and get the entire game into the core box. If I'm successful, I'll do a video about that with a link to where you guys can pick that up. But for right now, let me know what you think about the game. What do you like? What do you don't like? What's your favorite class to play? What's your favorite monster? Leave it in the comments. I'd like to hear about that. And so, once again, thank you all for watching. And until next time, fearless gamers, take care.